Hey everybody, my name is Luz and I'm here with a reflection on standardized testing using the Connect Extends Challenge model. So this topic really made me think about how we measure learning in young children and whether or not the measurements are actually fair or useful. So before this chapter, I was already familiar with standardized testing, more for the older kids, like the FCATs, the SATs, the ones that got you into college or to the next school. I didn't realize how actually early it starts. So going into the chapter, it really reminded me about my kids when they were babies and how the pediatrician asked all these questions and they reacted to certain things, and it was necessarily to make sure the development was good. So I just thought it was part of that normal doctor visit, but it was more to it. All used to form screen development. So I do have some links in the bio that you can check out from what I learned. But it necessarily helped me connect my experience as a parent to what I'm now learning here as a student in the early education class I'm taking. So it made me realize how critical these assessments are because it's not just for your health, it's for spotting those developmental delays early so we can make a change, so we can act before it's too late sometimes. And the new ideas that pushed my thinking and really extended my learning was validity and reliability. I thought it meant the same thing, but I now understand that tests can be reliable, giving those consistent results, but not necessarily valid, which is actually measuring what it claims to be. So, reading the chapters, I was able to focus on three tests in particular that made me think about something new. First was the Bayley scales of infant development. That test evaluated cognitive and motor development in babies and toddlers, but it wasn't always consistent. Very detailed, but not consistent, especially since infants grow and change so quickly. And babies' moods, babies' schedules, it can throw off results, especially if they're overstimulated. Then there was the Denver 2 screening test. That test checks for developmental delays from birth to age 6. It's widely used, but it's not a diagnostic tool. And it can sometimes give false positives and miss subtle issues, which will be necessary for screening. The one I loved was the preschool language scale. That one, the PLS 4, was my favorite of the three because it focuses on language development, both expressive and receptive. So it's great for kids with speech delays who are learning English. And it's more reliable, easy to administer, and it gives a lot more insight to teachers to make a plan and the specialists. So everybody's able to work more as a team. So learning this made me step back and realize with my journey, once again, with my children, and especially that all these scores are just a score. That's not what only matters. Individualizing it to them so they're able to push past those barriers. So one thing that confused me, but also that I would like to challenge is just kind of what about those kids who don't speak English yet? What about the kids who are still learning how to express themselves? And the test can't account for that. So they're always just going to be a score. And importantly, are we training these teachers to make sure it's beyond the score? Are we making sure that this number is not the only thing deciding the child's path? And as a parent, we want these results better. A score report doesn't mean much if it's not explained thoroughly, especially when they're not educated. So if a teacher can do something in person better and explain how they're able to support the child, how can become a team to support that training and really make a difference, that's what all counts. So reading this chapter was very interesting. So that was my reflection on the testing, and that's what I'm sitting with. So it's not just about the test; it's about how we use the data, how we explain it, and what we're really going to do to serve the child. Like I said, everything is at the bottom, links in the bio. So thank you for listening to my reflection.